To Sniper Ghost Warrior 3's latest video gameplay walkthrough. I'm here to walk you through another mission of Sniper Ghost Warrior 3, and it takes place in the mountains of Georgia. It is covered in snow, and it's going to play and feel completely differently to what we've shown before. In the mission, we're following a lead on a prisoner, and we're going to be infiltrating an enemy outpost to try and rescue him. Now, we've already started choosing our loadout. We've taken our primary weapon, a sniper rifle, and we've bought a bunch of special bullets. So now we're going to take a secondary weapon, an AK-47 out, put a silencer on it, and grab a sidearm, the Garrett M9, also silenced. We grab a knife and go to the gadget section. And here the most important thing is the drone, which is going to be our best recon tool. We're going to modify it, put a hacking mod in it, and it's going to become very useful in this mission and add some other modifications. Then we're going to take a few throwing knives, some frag grenades, and maybe a C4 explosive and a decoy trap. So once we've got that, we take on some armor and we're good to go and do our mission. We will quickly confirm our selection in the laptop, and the screen on the left is going to give us an idea of what we can expect on this mission.
John, I found the location of that place, that slaughterhouse. It's in the mountains to the north.
We have no time to waste.
Just don't get yourself killed.
In this video, we're guiding John through another area controlled by the Separatists. They've pushed back the NATO-backed Georgian forces and taken over a large part of the country, including military bases, civilian towns, comm stations, and industrial facilities. They have a lot of know-how on how to operate the most high-tech facilities, and John's official task is to find out how they can be operating at such a high capacity and then to shut them down. His unofficial agenda, though, is to find his brother, Robert North. Robert was taken by unknown operatives 2 years before, and recent reports indicate he was seen in this area of Georgia. And we're going to find out what's happened to him and get him out. Whether he wants to be helped remains to be seen, as nothing is ever simple in these kind of scenarios. Okay, so we've arrived at the mission area, and normally snipers work in pairs, with a spotter who detects targets and measures the distance and wind. But John is deep inside enemy territory without backup, so he has to act as his own spotter. So the first thing we'll do is find a good vantage point and scout out the location ahead. Remember that higher ground is not always the best place to be, as you need to have an exit route in case of an alarm. You don't want to be stuck in a tower or under enemy fire with no way out.
Watch out, John. The whole place is monitored with CCTV. Maybe you should focus on hacking their servers first.
Good idea.
We've pretty much got the whole location in view, so it's time to use the drone for recon. The drone will mark our enemies automatically and also detect any traps, such as mines. It's worth remembering that although this is John's most high-tech tool, it can and will be noticed by the enemies, so don't fly it too close. It can be modified, though, to have more camouflage capabilities, and also features like security camera hacking, longer battery life, better tagging ranges, so it's important to gather resources around the game world to afford these modifications. There's a CCTV box appearing on the screen, and Lydia, who has both a professional and personal history with John, has asked us to hack those boxes to make infiltration easier. The drone also shows us sabotage objects like generators and fuse boxes that we can use to manipulate the AI. When we're done with recon, it's time to take the sniper rifle and take our first targets. Now, it's always a good idea to start with the most isolated target. So, this separatist right here in the tower, we're going to zoom in on him. Set the scope 200 meters to combat bullet drop. Check the wind and pull the trigger. In this mission, we're about 2/3 into the game, and the place we are attacking is pretty heavily guarded, with CCTV cameras, armored enemies, sentries and towers, and traps. Our task is to rescue a prisoner from an abandoned slaughterhouse, which is now being used for body disposal and interrogations. The prisoner is connected with Robert, so this is a high priority for John. Use your mini-map and realize the environment is your enemy. Not only are there traps around the outposts, but there are deadly cliffs and hungry wild animals. But in this case, the environment can also be your resource, and if we trace these tracks, we'll see a safe path through the minefield. In other cases, they may warn us of enemy positions, so a sniper going on his nest might have a booby-trap path to it just to have his back secured. Also, they can tell us about mission-specific clues, like if we're hunting for a target, we can look for his tracks and know where he is. John is also a skilled demolitions expert, so he can disarm those mines and can even get some resources out of it. When you look at this Georgian landscape, you can almost forget they are actually regions torn apart by civil war. It's time to get to a good sniping spot, and once again use the sniper rifle to take out any enemies in the isolated positions. There's one on the rooftop. And always remember about the distance to your target and the wind. Once you get a clean shot, pull the trigger. After neutralizing this enemy, we have a clear path for the drone to fly it to the CCTV box and disable it like Lydia told us to. Once we're close, we will also be able to tap into the feed and try and locate our target. These cameras are a good way of gathering intel on your outpost. Even if it's not directly specified in your mission, it's always a good idea to hack them and see what's out there waiting for you.
Okay, I hacked the CCTV server, but it seems there's another one controlling the rest of the cameras. Lydia?
Yes?
I know the location of our guy. He's in one of the rooms in the basement.
Good. Move on.
Okay, we have the location of our target now. We know he must be important to the Separatists because it's a very heavily guarded outpost. And we still have to get to him, so we're going to zip down and see if we can find a path to the basement. Always grab those resources, because they're going to be useful for crafting later. It's dark outside, so we'll be less visible to the patrolling Separatists. But we'll have to stay out of any lights on this level, because then we'll be easily spotted. There's a lone enemy in an isolated position, so we're going to try to sneak up on him and interrogate him. Maybe he has something useful for us.
How do I get to the basement?
Keycard. I don't have it, but my partner always leaves his on the table.
Depending on the mission parameters, these enemies might give us different information. So in this case, we got the information on a key card that will allow us access to the basement. But due to the open nature of most of the missions in Sniper Ghost Warrior 3, we do not have to follow that path. There's still some enemies between us and the key card, so we'll try to lure some of these out with this generator. We'll turn it off to have someone come and investigate, and we'll set down an ambush for him.
Generator's dead again. Fuck.
We'll hide his body just to avoid detection in case somebody else comes. And these separatist guards aren't stupid, so when one of them came to check out the generator, and this didn't get the power back on, somebody else will come and try to fix it. So we'll leave this guy to fix the generator and take care of him later.
All right, it should work now.
So now we're sure no one else will come to investigate the generator, but it's still a good practice to hide the bodies, especially as this is in a highly illuminated area, and the light levels are actually what guides any perception in this game. Now there's a camera noticing us, and we've already hacked onto one of the other CCTV boxes, but there's also a second one controlling the other cameras, and we're going to take care of that now. Once we're in, we can cycle through the feeds to make sure we haven't missed any enemies, and maybe get a better view of the keycard. There's the card, and like I said earlier, we don't have to actually get it, but this is something that will get you into the basement where the prisoner is undetected, and that's really important in terms of an exit strategy. Because once you're in, you have to get out, and it's not going to be easy with an entire outpost of enemies waiting for you. But if this is how you want to play, you can plant explosives, or use a grenade to blow the door to the basement.
Okay, I found the keycard.
So, with the key card, all we need now to do is to find a way in and release the prisoner. We've actually disabled all the cameras and taken out a lot of the enemies on this outpost, but there's still a lot of patrolling guards. This one in particular is a heavy enemy, and you can tell by the amount of bars on his tag. And the only way to take him out in one shot would be a precise shot to the back of the head, or the eye. And as you've observed, this is actually day now. So we're going to try and get out of the open ground, and when looking for a path, we're going to use the location's verticality to our advantage. So we're going to climb the roof and see if we can find a good entrance that's not heavily guarded. So here we have one enemy, and John is skilled to take out his enemies quickly and silently from any position, so we can drop down on them and take them out. So once again, we're going to hide the body and make sure nobody finds it. Here's one of the targets off our most wanted list, who have committed the most horrendous crimes against the Georgian people. Whenever we find them, we can take them out to gain additional rewards. We have the key card, so we can quietly enter the basement.
I'm in the basement.
John's close combat training allows us to use chain kills when we see 2 or more enemies close to each other.
I wish you could see
Why
me
is the
now,
wine
Sviat.
always gone?
Sometimes we'll find captured civilians in the game, and we can help them if we're able to.
Please, help us! Get us out of here!
No promises, but I'll see what I can do.
Thank you, sir. Don't forget about us.
We can use scout mode to look for solutions. In this case, it's going to be fairly easy to shoot this lock
Okay,
pad to
you're
free the
free.
civilians.
Wait for things to calm down a little, and then run for your lives.
Thank you. We are forever in your debt.
Anytime we provide help like that, we're actually helping the Rotkey Lions, a resistance movement fighting against the Separatists. And maybe they'll help us in return.
John?
Why? What did they do to you?
Okay.
My name is Tomasz Pruski, and I'm a senior level designer for CI Games. I'm here to tell you about Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. We start the game at the safe house, one of the player's hubs with access to the most important tools. At the weapon cache, we are free to choose a loadout which corresponds to our current gameplay needs. In Sniper Ghost Warrior 3, players are encouraged to experiment with 3 complementary playstyles: the Sniper, the Ghost, and the Warrior, each having its own challenges and rewards. The laptop is used to browse currently available missions and choose which one of them we want to start.
Your target is Ivan Khrushchev, a high-ranking officer with one of the syndicates. We were able to track him to blocks, though we can't pinpoint his exact location. He's also under heavy guard, so don't be fancy. Just ice him and get out.
Copy that.
After choosing a mission, we are shown the game's recommended approaches from the Sniper, Ghost, and Warrior paths. This is just a recommendation though, and we will not be penalized for choosing a different approach to accomplishing this mission. After leaving a safe house, we will always have our vehicle waiting for us in a convenient location. When arriving at a mission area, we will sometimes hear info about optional objectives that can be completed for additional rewards.
I've got more info for you, John. A military drone crashed near your vicinity. Luckily, its GPS is still operational. I'll send its last location to you. Find it and recover the data before someone else does.
Roger.
Be careful on the roads, as you might encounter a variety of deadly military patrols. After we've chosen a good secluded spot, it's time to use one of our recon tools, the drone. The drone lets us scout out a location from a fairly safe distance and mark our enemies and points of interest like mortars or minefield. Be careful not to be noticed, the enemy will attack the drone. When we've gathered all the necessary intel on the location, it's time to move in. First, we'll use a sniper approach. This means evading the enemy from a distance and finding a good spot to take the shot. The building opposite to the heavily guarded outpost looks like a prime location to set up a sniping position.
Here for a warming.
When a path seems to be blocked, use scout mode to look for places that you can climb.
Path's blocked. There has to be another way. Balcony looks like my only way out of here. I have a clear view of the entire outpost from up there.
That's the drum we're looking for.
Roger that.
We found a perfect sniper nest. We still don't have an exact location of the target. We can use tagging bullets to find nearby enemies and tag them even through walls and obstacles.
I've got a visual on Khrushchev.
Target confirmed. That's our guy. Find a spot, take him out.
In scope view, we can zoom in the target, adjust the scope to the target's distance, and offset the aim to combat wind influence. When we're finally ready to take the shot, we can use breath control to stabilize the sway and then pull the trigger.
Target's down.
Nice shot. Now get out of there.
Okay, let's go back and try that with a different approach. The Ghost Path is more focused on sneaking in the shadows, luring enemy soldiers in traps, and performing silent takedowns. When playing as a ghost, remember to hide in tall bushes, shoot out lights, and use the environment to gain an upper hand.
Kill for warning. Burn the wiggy. Silence before a storm is the worst.
Scout mode also shows us interactive objects. We can use some of them for sabotage to ambush our enemies. If there are any soldiers in the vicinity, they will investigate these objects and provide us with an opportunity to strike. We don't have to perform an immediate takedown though. If we are sure that we will not be spotted by other enemies, we can try to interrogate our victims to gain vital information like the location of our target or the distribution of troops on an outpost.
Talk or I'll break you!
I've got a visual on Khrushchev.
Target confirmed. That's our guy. Find a spot to take him out.
There will usually be an alternative route to your target, aside from the most obvious main entrance, so it pays off to do proper recon before entering an enemy outpost. Some of the objects highlighted in the scout mode can help us create additional scenarios during missions. In here, we can mess with our target's TV antenna to lure him out to the roof. That way, we don't have to get too deep into enemy territory.
Target's down.
Good job with that antenna. Don't stick around.
Let's try that one more time with a more aggressive approach. Warrior gameplay is all about creatively using all the tools in our arsenal to eliminate our enemies. However, it is best to have a backup plan and do proper recon before attacking head-on. Going in guns blazing against a horde of enemies without a plan will often spell our doom.
talk or I'll break you.
I've got a visual on Khrushchev.
Target confirmed. That's our guy. Find a spot to take him out.
Use lots of gadgets and hazardous elements of the environment when playing as warrior to create chaos and destruction within enemy ranks.
What's your status? I can no longer see any movement. Repeat, no movement. What's that?
Keep an eye on health bar because it does not regenerate automatically.
Explosion on the perimeter! Report! We'll investigate!
Eyes on tank. Opening fire.
Thanks for watching this video on Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. Follow us on social media for more info.
Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. Available 127.17. Pre-order now.
Hi, thanks for coming. My name is Jess LeBeau. I'm the lead narrative designer for Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. I was the original world designer for the Guild Wars series. I did some original story work for League of Legends, and more recently did DLC for Far Cry 4. I've been with CI Games on this project for about a year. This is Alec. He's also part of our narrative design team. We're going to walk you through the demo here. So you are an American Special Forces operative illegally behind enemy lines in the country of Georgia. The United States and NATO is fighting a proxy war against Russia through the civil war that's taking place in this country. It's an open world experience. Okay? There is a storyline that does take place in a particularly linear fashion. However, there is a lot of other open world activities and preparation that you have to do in order to be able to complete those missions. So we're now I'd say about a third of the way through the game. We've been collecting intel, doing reconnaissance. We're on our way back to our safe house, get our next mission. But as fond of saying, the world itself, the terrain is an enemy in Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. So we want to make sure that we don't stumble into anything that's going to kill us. So we're going to use one of our gadgets. Alec is demonstrating the drone. When you're in the drone, you're in first person. You'll see that the minimap doesn't have any enemies on it until you tag them. The way you tag them is to see them either through your drone, through the scope, packed security cameras, visualization. So you see he's got them all, added them to the map. And clearly the Russians are up to some good because they've mined this area. They don't want any incursions. Again, the terrain can kill you. It's an enemy. So to deal with that, we've given you a couple of tools. The first we call extreme navigation. Rappelling, parkour, climbing over fences, dealing with terrain that you might, more vertical, things that you might not necessarily be able to go over and over. The second is what we call scout mode. And this is you accessing your special forces training, right? Things that you already know as an operative. You see here, he's analyzing these footprints. Alec, what did you find?
Full steps, military boots, so probably it was a guy that was setting up the minefield.
So now Alec has several options. He can extreme navigate his way around it, he can disarm these mines, or he can track this guy who clearly has been the one that laid the mines safely through the minefield.
Does it disappear after a couple of times?
If you do not track it, the problems or the difficulties won't appear, the mines, you will be able to go back. So he's also got to skirt this patrol that he saw earlier and sniper. What you saw there was our detection meter. Stealth is obviously very important to the game. So this is our safe house. This is the crafting bench. You can craft bullets, you can craft scopes, pieces of your rifle. Alec has picked up some health kits and some body armor, and now he's going to contact JSOC and get his mission. Now, for the past few days, we've been doing reconnaissance. We know about the Russian operation here. The leader of the Russians is named General Witkovich. JSOC says, locating and killing. What you're looking at here, again, open world experience. This is a local map, right? This is just the areas. This is a small section of it. This is your safe house. This is another safe house that you've unlocked, either through missions or exploration. When you unlock them, you can fast travel to from one to another. Now, this isn't teleportation. Time does pass, but the conceit is in an open world, we know that you can safely move from one safe house to the next. So here we are in another safe house. Alec is going to select some weapons for the mission with a name like Sniper. Of course, we've got a bunch of cool rifles, right? But we've also got handguns, machine guns, knives. Your drone, of course, might need to be repaired if you crash into something or it gets shot. You might upgrade it. You might have to buy a new one. You might have to retrofit it for certain tasks. So Alec's going to select a knife and a sniper rifle. You've done crafting. That'll appear here when you assemble your rifle. And he's going to head out for the mission. As I mentioned, time has passed. We have a dynamic weather system, so now it's raining. If we come out here at a different time, it might be foggy, it might also be raining, it might be sunny. So things change. So what did you find here?
It is a weird track because it appears that somebody dragged the body for here.
So you can use the scout mode to learn information about side quests, things we're calling war crime, right? These are optional, but they can unlock tools for you later. So perhaps this guy that was dragged through here, maybe it's a dead body, perhaps it was someone who was captured. Maybe if you track down, you find that someone's been captive, and you can release them, and maybe they'll give you a key to a tower or something that will unlock a sniping position you could use later. One of the other aspects of scout mode is that it can access what we call stances. So if you hold your rifle unsupported like this, it's more difficult to control, right? If you use parts of your body to control it, if you all sorts of different stances. So we know as a Special Forces operative that using our rifle up against this piece of terrain will give us lots of control. Alec can use that then to search for the general, potentially take shots if he wants to. He tags all of the patrols and the enemy. Doesn't look like the general is here. We're going to have to go deeper in their facility. What you see here is a server location that we tagged earlier in other reconnaissance. So what we're going to try and do is sneak into the center of their camp, their base, and we're going to hack into their servers, use their own security cameras to see if we can locate the general. The game is never going to tell you where your enemy is. You have to do your own reconnaissance. Right? It's about you being a lone guy behind enemy lines. Survival. So you can't kill somebody if you don't know where they are. So you see Alec being very careful as he moves through here because, again, the terrain and enemy. He's watching for enemy trolls through here. The most direct route to that server is probably down this road. But it looks like, is that three? It's like 3 snipers covering this area. So Alec is going to use scout mode to find an extreme navigation way to get around. He's going to go up, maybe around, maybe he's going to take out one of these snipers. As you see, there are vehicles in the game. There will be some jets that fly over that can detect you. There are helicopters that are searching. If you get caught, it'll set off an alarm. They'll shoot you. If the alarm goes off, it's not necessarily mission fail. However, it's going to make it a lot harder, right? So what we do is we give you challenges, and we give you tools to deal with those challenges. And it's up to you to decide how you want to tag things, kill certain targets, execute your mission. If he sets off the alarm, that's not going to be good for us. It's going to be probably demo over because we're in the middle of camp. We're using the same build here as is on the hands-on here. There are no cheat codes, no developer codes. What do you find here?
It's a single trail. It's a sniper race, so if he's alone, his position is big dropped.
So usually these guys work, sometimes they work in pairs, a spotter and a sniper. The spotter will also do what they call sniper security, make sure no one sneaks up on the pair of them while they're doing their work. But since this guy's working alone, our training has told us that he's probably booby-trapped the area. Alec will have to disarm this mine. Now you see he's tagged the guy here, so he has several choices. He can either take him out with his rifle or with his suppressed pistol, but both of those do make some noise. So it's always going to be safer if he can find a way to do it a little more quietly.
Okay. Right.
So now Alec has taken out one of these snipers and has opened up a corridor for him to potentially move through. Now, realism is very important to us. So you're never going to see a guard come out, put his rifle against the wall, light a cigarette. I hope nobody shoots me in the back of the head. They're all going to have duties. They're all going to have orders. They're all going to have purpose. So in this case, there were sets of snipers that were covering every angle going into this particular camp. And Alec has now opened up one corridor. There are factions in the game, different groups of people. Some of them are enemies. Some of them are neutral. You can interact with them. In this case, what we're looking at here are Georgians. They're workers. They don't have any weapons. But that doesn't mean that if a foreign special operative pops out of the bushes with a rifle, they're not going to sound an alarm. The Russians have moved into this mining town, this whole mining community. They've taken over the mine. They've forced the Georgians into working for them. And they're building a uranium enrichment processing plant in the old mine. They're doing it over the border in Georgia to avoid international detection. This is part of why you're being ordered to assassinate this general, because you want to slow down their progress. So you see Alec can extreme navigate over those rails. It's quite close now, so you've got to be very careful. There are no levels in the game. There are no skill points that you spend. You don't level 3, level 10. You click, I'm going to get better at sniping. Instead, you train, similar to what you would do if you were in the Special Forces. The more you use certain caliber rifles, the more you use your knife, the more you disarm things, the better you get at those activities. We think this adds to the realism. So Alec has now made it to the center of the camp here. He's overlooking the server location that we discovered earlier. So he's going to go through here and tag all the sentries, making sure that they're added to the mini-map so he doesn't get snuck up on. And then he's going to use his drone to try and sneak in there and hack the servers. Drone, like the player, can set off an alarm, it gets shot, and it's got obviously it flies, so it's got some advantages. But this guy up on the roof makes it difficult. It gets spotted. So Alec is going to have to take him out. So let me explain to you our sniping system. This is your rangefinder. He's about 100 meters away, a little over 100 meters. This is the air temperature. This will affect the flight of your bullet. This is the wind, obviously affect the flight of your bullet. This is the humidity. It will also affect the flight of your bullet. And this is the magnification. This will change based on what you've crafted for your scope. So Alec, tell us about the scope.
Okay, so as you can see, right now it's a little bit oversensitive. I need to stabilize it. So what I can do is enter a stance called neck. So I'm stabilizing my rifle on my arm, and it gives me much more accuracy. As just said, this guy's around 100 meters, so I'm going to calibrate my scope to 100 meters. And as you can see, there's a little red dot that appears on the meter.
This is how far your bullet is going to drift based on the conditions. So Alec is going to breathe out. One shot, one go. So now he's got a corridor that he can use for his drone. But of course, he doesn't want to just stand there like a dummy on the edge of the cliff with his control, so he's going to back up into cover so that he doesn't get spotted by a troll or a passing helicopter.
In hard parts, so I need to stand.
Yeah. So the drone flies similar to a regular drone, right? It can drift around. You can hit things and damage it. It's quite fun, but a little bit difficult. He's got to avoid the patrol out for the helicopter. You can see there's intel that the drone can pick up for you. He's going to try and go over the top and through the window so that he's got a straight shot down from the balcony.
Movement detected.
See, it's discovered a sniping spot that you can potentially use for further missions. This is you basically knowing what vantage points would be good to use. But again, you don't have to use the sniping locations. It's up to you how you execute your mission. Alec hasn't had his vodka today, so his driving is a little impaired. So now he's in the center here. He's got a pretty good vantage point. It's pretty close now, but he still has to watch out for these patrols.
I need to aim into this little or smaller bunker. This is what I call my Luke Skywalker moment.
Movement detected.
Oh, come on.
No.
Movement detected.
Anyway, so here we are. We've got servers. This one we hacked into is access 3 different camera networks. You can see there are 5 cameras here, 7 here. So we're going to hack this, take control of it. And now Alec can control the cameras. You can see you can use your scout mode through the cameras. That was the hotel entrance. There's a couple of turrets here. The helipad. One guy there. Here's that patrol. So it looks like the general is not here, not on this side anyway, so we'll have to try another set of cameras. Nobody here. Okay, here's our general. This is one of the cooler storytelling tools that we've got, right? We have our own mocap studio. So whenever you're near any NPC interaction, through a security camera, through your drone, or nearby, you can overhear their conversations. And this will advance the story, the main story, the subquests, the overall world story, and everything. Every single interaction is voiced, so you can hear all of that. This is the general and his wife. A little bit of a voyeuristic moment. I always feel like we're intruding on them. I say this is the general and his soon-to-be widow.
Future widow.
She is the head of the uranium enrichment facility, which is built inside the mine. You'll be able to go down there and run missions in there later on. Now we've tagged him. We know where he's at. We can move on to the second part of the mission, which is killing him. So you see here that we've got his name, we've got intel we've collected on him. And these other locations, these other things you're seeing are our sniping locations. We've unlocked these at different points. The white numbers are the distance from that sniping location to our current position. The yellow ones are the distance from the sniping location to the target. So Alec, which one do you want to use?
Okay, so I think I'm going to take the first one. It's
This one?
the closest to my location right now, and it's the longest shot. So, yeah.
You're going to show off your sniping skills?
I'm going to say that, but after a drone, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure anymore.
Can you look real quick back at it? So you see this one location is only 3 meters away from our general. If you wanted to kill him with a knife, that might be a good location to go to. However, we know that there's a battalion of Russians here, right? So probably not the kind of location that you can exfiltrate from. However, if you spent a day or so, or several hours, watching his movements, perhaps at a certain time of day, with his commanders, you might be able to hide in another location and take him out with your knife. The advantage that this position has, though it's going to be the hardest shot because it's the farthest away, it's also going to be the farthest away from his guards, which means it'll be easier for him to exfiltrate. If you read about any of these like elite sniper programs, right? These like special ops sniper programs, obviously shooting is an important aspect. But the other, maybe more important, aspect is stealth. That means you have to learn how to infiltrate and exfiltrate. No one is coming to get you in this game, right? You are on your own. You're going to have to plan your entry route and your exit strategy. You need to know what's behind you. So Alec has left the facility and has to enter the perimeter again because his vantage point was kind of on the outside of the perimeter. So he's sneaking back in. And he's going to move his way to the sniping location here. While he does, are there any questions on anything we've talked about so far? Using what? You can calculate however you like. Yes. We're trying to make it as accurate as possible. So if you are a trained sniper, we do have an ex sniper on our staff who is advising us on all of these things. Any other questions?
You have to use those sniping points to take out the target if you shoot them anywhere.
It's all up to you. Again, it's challenges and tools, right? So these are things from your training that you think these would be good vantage points, and there are advantages to it because you know when you're selecting them how far they are from your target, but it's really up to you.
Depending on how you play, what kind of spots you're using, some kind of...
Yeah, of course, yeah. Your longest shot and all that stuff we're going to do a chance for you. I mean, of course you want to know how far and what the most wind, what the worst conditions were that you shot and all that stuff.
Well, you're rewarded in any way for taking the target out with a knife up close, instead of doing it close.
Well, the more you use it, the better you'll get at it. But it's really about your play style, right? We want you to be able to play the game however you want. This is not a run-and-gun shooter, right? This is really tactical, and so we're not going to tell you the best way to do it, right? We're not going to tell you have to do it the way we want to do it. Instead, what we're doing is we're setting up scenarios that we think would be realistic, and then we say, okay, here are your tools, go get them. And obviously, we want to make it fun, so there are going to be some things in reality that maybe not the game because that would just be too hardcore, but realism is very real. Getting close to our location here. What are you learning here?
So this is set of 2 tracks. So probably there's a sniper and a spare. So no lines, but 2 enemies.
So he's going to have to take out one very quietly so that the other doesn't hear it. Otherwise, he'll raise the alarm. At this point, if the alarm is raised, we're soup deep inside the Russian camp. Odds of getting out after killing the target really low. You see, he dropped a machine gun. You have to prep for these missions, right? You can't carry, every weapon you pick up, right? So you pick them up for crafting and such. Okay, so now our spot is clear. We can get in position. You see there another stance that's suggested based on our training. This would be, but you don't have to use that stance. In fact, you'll see that Alex is going to take a different stance. So here's our guy. We spent the last few days learning about him and his movements. We intercepted, we hacked into their computers. We got his orders. We realized that he's unhappy about the speed that the processing plant, the facility is moving forward. They're behind schedule. And he told them they have 3 days to get back on schedule or he's going to deal with it himself. We also know where he's going to be after today, the next couple of days. So if we wanted to try and take him out at a different location, we could do that. Perhaps we're happier, like the city better than having to take him out in the middle of the military camp. But you can see the soldiers that have been here have been pushing, the foremen have been pushing the workers very hard because they're trying to get up on schedule. And they know the general has arrived, but they still didn't make it. They're not on time. And general is here, and he's going to take matters in his own hands, despite the fact that we have a labor dispute. There's only one way to deal with something in a Russian military, apparently. But he's not a very nice guy, so we're going to go ahead. Another shot to kill. Now the alarm has been sounded, and Alex needs to exfiltrate. He's going to go run and get the machine gun. So for the demo, we said just for time, we're going to go ahead and send a Black Hawk in and exfiltrate him, pick him up. Also, choppers are just cool. But in the actual game, this will never happen. You will not be picked up by a helicopter.